we have conferences like the Big 12 losing Nebraska to it, and you got Utah and Colorado playing football in the Pac-12. This weekend, like I said earlier, Utah is playing their first Pac-10 game, and they're taking on USC in a very, very significant game for them because it's their first fray playing against a Pac-10 team and being in this conference in a game that matters. That's not a bowl game. BYU is playing Texas this week. And BYU, I believe, is an independent for the first time in a long time. And I like that teams are broadening its horizons. And now Texas A&M is trying to be one of those teams who are broadening their horizons and trying to go to the SEC. And now there are teams in the Big 12 who are basically, who don't want it to happen. In my opinion, I think this is all because of Texas. Texas got this network, and essentially a lot of teams in the Big 12 are upset about it. Yes, Oklahoma has the pedigree, they have the fan base, the clamoring to see their football, that they could create their own network as well. But the bottom line is the state that produces the most players from the Big 12 all come from the state of Texas. And I think Texas A&M wants to leave the Big 12, or there's only 10 teams there, because they're upset that Texas is getting all this basic sort of credit or getting all of this sort of notoriety for this conference and a whole bunch of stuff, and it's pretty sad. And we're going to take our first phone call. Hello, you're on the line with Richard. How can I help you today?
Hello, son.
My father. How are you, Daddy?
All right. I'm laying here listening to your show, and I just got finished trying to put down some soup, but I'll be all right. And I appreciate the call, the shout out, and and best of luck everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. I enjoy your show, and that's not just from a father's perspective. That's just from a sports fan, and touch on a lot of good things. And keep up the good work, and I love you.
I love you too, Daddy. What did you think of the first game last night from the parts you got to see?
Well, from the parts that I got to see, I'm a defensive person.
Right.
And there was no defense played at all last night. And that's how the NFL is going to be. I wish they didn't come back.
Well, we were talking about this, you and I, off the air last week, and how the offenses are going to be, because of the 5 wide receiver sets, teams are just going to spread people out.
That's right.
And, last night, just like both teams just said, you don't have enough people to cover our guys, and so let's just shoot it out.
All right, and that kickoff, that is so terrible.
Yeah.
That is so terrible. I mean, it takes away from the game. Like I said before, they wanted to open the game, so what they do, they put the 5-yard chuck in, so that can open up, so that people can see more passes thrown.
Right.
People want to see more run backs.
I agree.
Getting these guys, and when these guys make these run backs, that's a hell of a run back that they're doing.
Right.
But you're not going to see that many. You're going to have more touchbacks than ever.
Yep.
I think that's taken away from the game. But again, like I said, like you said before, it's going to be an offensive game this year. It's going to be more offense than defense. The defense is so far behind with this stuff now that me personally, and I'm pretty sure a lot of defensive players think the same way. We'd much rather not see football.
Do you think later on, as the weather starts getting colder, it'll start to even out, or do you think it's going to be the whole season that way?
I think it's going to be that whole season.
Yeah, I do too.
The offense and the receivers, look at the type of receivers that they're getting.
Yep.
I mean, these guys are genuine threats.
Yep.
I mean, any way on the field. And it's not, I'm so glad in a way because it's parity.
Yep.
It's becoming parity in the league where people are getting, good receivers now, good hands people. And the defense, if they're not in shape, it's going to be a long season. So they're going to have to do a whole lot of running.
Let me get your Super Bowl prediction for this season.
Green Bay.
Yeah. Who do you think is going to come out of the AFC?
Yeah, I think the Saints.
Well, the Saints play in the NFC, but what team do you think?
I mean, I'm sorry. Who do I like? Nobody. Really.
Gotcha.
Really, nobody. You know, I really don't. I don't see. I haven't been able to pick anybody in a long time.
Well, I think you made a good pick in the Packers. I think they're going to repeat as well.
Yes, indeed. And if you can, before you hang up, could you give a shout out to Leroy Selma?
I definitely will.
All right. All right.
Well, I love you, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you, son.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Live radio, folks. You know, I love my father, love my family, and my father's an avid sports fan. And we were talking last week about how the defenses, you know, usually defenses are the ones that are sort of have the advantage because they, you know, you can't win a championship without having a good one. And you know, if the Packers and the Falcons can spread teams out, the Patriots have been doing it for years. You know, the Ravens have picked up some good receivers in the offseason. The Jets are going to spread. I mean, all these teams around the league are going to start going to 4 and 5 receiver sets. And if the weather was like it was last year where it wasn't so bad, you're going to see a lot of high-scoring games. And we will talk more about this Texas A&M story. And we'll talk a little about Leroy Selman. Actually, he's the next segment I was going to talk about on 89.7 KLES FM after this.
So I'm sitting and clicking, bang, gorgeous, hot, sexy models like you've never seen.
Yeah?
I'm telling you, what a website. I started ordering right online, and then my engine was roaring and my rocket was ready.
Hey, hope the wife don't find out.
Are you kidding? She told me about it. Anyway, finally I get my hands on what I've wanted my whole life.
You mean...
Yeah.